All right, so some common marketing questions that a lot of offices have when we start going down this path. Very first question everyone wants to know, how much should I spend, right? Should I spend money on Google? Should I spend it on Facebook? Should I spend it in my office? How much should I spend, really, is what they're asking. Which platform should I use to market, right? Should I actually put that money towards something? What should I put it towards, right? After that, who should I promote my ads to, right? Once you pick a platform, let's just say like Facebook, what, are you going to advertise to all of Facebook, everyone that's on there? No, you got to say, all right, I want to target men or women, people with kids, people that have jobs at banks, right? People that are actually employed, or self-employed. You can target people based on anything, right? So you got to find out what your demographics and your geographics are. Then, how do I rank higher on Google? Obviously, everyone wants to know that. My personal favorite, what happens if I do this and it doesn't work? So I'm going to answer all these questions throughout the presentation, but I like to have a little bit more of an interactive presentation. So does anybody have any questions outside of these that they're hoping to get answers on? I'm going to ask you lots of times if you have questions throughout this, so feel free to put up your hand and ask, okay? Nobody else has any questions? We'll move on. We have to fill 2 hours. This will take like an hour, maybe 75 minutes, so ask questions, okay? All right, 16 things that we're going to do for your office in order. So the very first thing that you should be taking a look at are domains. Now, there are two types of domains. You've got business name domains, and you've got keyword-based domains. So a business name domain is exactly that. It's like brandondentistry.com. By the way, I'm not a dentist, I just wear the apparel, okay? So brandondentistry.com. That's how people who know you are able to find you. Then you've got a keyword-based domain. A keyword-based domain is typically tied to a service, location, or industry, or any combination thereof. So it could be like losangelesfamilydentist.com, dentalimplantsinlosangeles.com, cosmeticdentistnearyou.com. Everyone with me on that? Okay. Now, there's lots of different suffixes for you to register. A suffix is the ending of a domain. .com, .net, .me, .dental, .metal, .rocks, .news, .io, right? Like there's so many different endings, tens of thousands of them. There's only 5 that are most recognized in the United States. Anyone want to take a guess what they are? .com, .net, .org, .info, and .biz. So com, info, net, biz, and org, okay? So what you want to do is you want to register specifically for your business name all 5 of those primary suffixes for 2 reasons. 1, the average patient, if they don't know if it's .com or .net or .biz, they'll put in one of those 5 99.99999% of the time, okay? So if they don't know what it is, they'll put in one of those 5. So you want to register those 5. The other reason why you want to do it is your competitors. Now, I'm not talking just somebody across the street. I'm talking about somebody that could be in another city, another state, or even in another country. They could register your business name at one of the other primary suffixes, if it's available. Because the average person only registers one of those 5. If all 5 of those are gone, they're going to pick a different name. So what you want to do is you want to register brandondentistry.com. You would think that something like, I don't know, Elgin Dental Center is unique. I'm just using that one as an example. One of my clients, Elgin Dental Center in London, Ontario. In Ottawa, Ontario, somebody else has the exact same name, but because he didn't register all 5 of them, somebody else ended up registering the .ca. It was like .com and .ca. So it's very annoying for Google to differentiate between who's who. Okay, so those 5 primary suffixes, you want to take them away from your competitors, and then you want to register them so that way your patients, if they don't know the suffix, will register one of those 5, or will type in one of those 5. Everyone with me on that? Okay, specifically I'm talking about your business name only. If you have a keyword-based domain for your business, it doesn't matter what suffix you register. It could be com, biz, infonet, org. You don't have to do all 5 because it's a keyword-based domain. It's not unique to your business, right? I've got one office. His domain is youngteeth.com. He's a peds dentist, right? youngteeth.com. He doesn't have all 5 suffixes because it's not the name of his business. It's just something cool that he wanted to register, okay? Now, don't register multiple domains just for the sake of owning them. Google doesn't care, okay? How many of you own more than one domain? I know some of you do. Put up your hands. It's okay. It's okay that you're spending money on it, but stop. right? Because Google doesn't care if you register cosmeticdentistnearyou.com, Invisalign in losangeles.com, teethwhiteningnearyou.com, dentalimplants.nearyou.com. Google doesn't care. The only thing Google cares about is that there's a domain, your primary, and a website attached to it. Everything else that's forwarded to your domain does absolutely nothing for search engine optimization. So do not waste your money registering multiple domains because they do absolutely nothing for you. Okay? The only reason I'm suggesting we do that for the business name is because it's your business name. Okay? It's there to protect your identity. Now, all domains need to have security on them. Okay? So security basically on the domain helps to redact personal information. Because anytime you register a domain, it's open for public knowledge. So if I wanted to, I could find your domain, I can scrape all the contact information for your business and your personal off of it, and then spam the hell out of you until the end of time. You could. But you could add a security blanket to it. It's like $15 a year, and it hides all your personal information from being visible online. Okay? So it's not expensive. Now domains themselves, depending on the suffix, could be 10, 15 to as much as about $30. So with security, they could be between like $30 and like $60 per year, right? So if you're doing a keyword-based domain, it's like $50, right? If you're doing business name domain, 5 of them, it's like $200-300, right? This is not expensive stuff, right? But this helps to protect your identity and hide your personal information. Any questions on this? Perfect. Y'all are a great bunch. How many of you have a HIPAA-compliant email? Show of hands. You know for a fact your email is HIPAA compliant. No one? Really? How many of you use Gmail to communicate with patients? Like myoffice@gmail.com. 2 of you? How many use Hotmail? Yahoo? MSN? AOL? Okay. How many of you have a custom email? info@brandondentistry.com. Something like that. Okay, what are the other ones using? What are you guys using? Nobody put up their hands, so like let's ask some questions, guys. What are you using in the back? You two guys. What are you guys using? Are you using like a Gmail?
I think it's a Gmail, yeah.
Think it's a Gmail? What about you guys? Gmail? The hat? What are you using? Gmail? Guys, it's okay to put up your hand. Okay, we're together on this, okay? I'm trying to help, okay? So, emails. So if you are using a Gmail account, the average that you're going to end up going to spam is about 70%. 70%. Same thing with any other free email provider. A free email provider is someone that you can just go set up an email account with and you never have to pay anything. Okay? But when you email someone, their incoming mail server picks it up and says, ugh, Gmail again? Yahoo again? MSN? Pfft, spam. Because what ends up happening with spammers is they'll set up an email, they'll spam 1,000 people, set up an email, spam 1,000 people. So when you email someone, that incoming mail server picks it up and says, forget you, right? They don't even bother looking at the prefix. The prefix is before the @ symbol. They don't bother looking at it knowing that it's unique. They just automatically assume you're spam. 70% of the time, your emails are going into a new patient's spam box. So if you get an email from your website that says, hey, you have a new patient inquiry, 70% of the time, those are going to your spam box. Now, if you pick it up and you email the patient back, 70% of the time, it's going to their spam box. Isn't that crazy? 70%. Okay, so don't email your new patients back when you get an inquiry. Call them. Always, always, always call them. Now, if you have a custom emails, it's only 12%. That's like info@brandondentistry or smiles@brandondentistry.com, right? Like something @yourdomain.com. Okay, it's 12%. That's because these emails are paid email accounts. So when incoming mail servers pick them up, they're like, oh, you're paid? Perfect. Let's put you in the inbox, right? And that's because typically with paid email accounts, they have a lot more security measures on the back end of the domain. And so you might want to write these down to make sure you've got them in case you have a custom email. It's called an SPF record. There's also DKIM. There's DMARC. These are basically records that when you email someone, the mail server picks it up and says, you have a lot of security, let's go to the inbox, because I know you're not spam, because spammers don't set these security measures up. Okay? So you want to set up a custom email when you, at all costs. Like, I would definitely do that, okay? Now, one of the main reasons why you want to do it, aside from it's going into the spam box, this was actually a dentist's old email. I don't know if you can read it in the back, but it says dentaltemp101.com or at gmail.com. Dentaltemp101, back when he was an associate. Okay, then he bought the office. We changed the office email to info@coultersmilldental.com. Okay, so if imagine you were to email a patient, which email are you going to respond to? Hey, can I get your medical records and we want to confirm your appointment? Dentaltemp101 or info@coultersmilldental? Right? Which one looks more legitimate? Plus, patients are smart. They'll take the suffix, they'll pop it into Google, and if it populates your website, they know you're legitimate. They know you are who you say you are. But you can't do that from a Gmail account, right? Now, with medical grade emails, there are some things that you want to add into it. So one of them is data backup. You accidentally delete something, you can easily restore. Folder, contact, sent, received message, whatever. Okay, malware protection helps fight against viruses. So how many of you have received an email that says, hey, download your invoice here, right? Or, hey, make sure you change your password into this because your password's expiring. That's like malware. They're gonna affect your computer, they're gonna steal your identity, okay? So that malware protection, when it gets emails that look like that, deletes them or puts them in spam right away. Anti-phishing software, okay, that's very similar. Basically, anytime you get an email from a known spammer, it just gets blocked right away. Email encryption. How it used to work is you would send an encrypted file to someone. Let's say I send one to you. It would say, hey, Brandon sent you an encrypted file. You have to log in to see it. So then you have to go to your browser, you have to log in, then you respond to me through that system. And then I'll get an email saying that you responded. And then I, in order to see the message, have to log into the system in order to respond to you, and that's how encrypted files used to work. How many of you use Microsoft Office 365 or Google's G Suite program? Okay, a couple of you? Okay, so that's what the email encryption is, automatically encrypted files. So if anyone intercepts that message, it turns up as gibberish. So when I email you now, you just get the straight message and it's automatically encrypted anytime it goes out of my inbox, okay? Desktop and mobile integration means if you read and reply to something on your phone, it's also read and replied to on the opposite device, okay? And then 50 gigs of storage. That's the bare minimum a dental office should have. Do you know how much space medical records take up? It's crazy. It's like 200 megabytes sometimes per email. Like 200 megabytes, okay? 1,000 megabytes is 1 gigabyte, okay? Yeah, you see how much space sometimes these emails can take up? Now, you're not sending medical records every day, so standard emails are very small kilobytes, very, very tiny, right? But you want to have at least 50 gigabytes. Usually that's enough for about 25 to 40,000 emails, give or take. Okay? Anybody have any questions on emails at all? Awesome. Okay, next, upgrade your website. How many of you recently updated your website? 3? Okay, how many of you have an old website? Yeah, a couple of you. How many of you use like a Google or a GoDaddy website design, or Wix, or Weebly, Web.com? I know some of you are doing it. I know the percentages. Okay, so normally how website designs have worked over the last 30 years is basically a website design company builds a server, then they build websites for those servers, then they sell you those websites for those servers. Now the website company doesn't really make a lot of money on the hosting, so they're like, how do I get more money out of you? So what do? They build better servers with better websites. And then they sell you those websites. And they do this every 6 months like clockwork. And if you're foolish enough to pay for it, that's going to cost you thousands of dollars every time you change your website. Okay? And you don't want to do that. Okay? So what you want to do is you want to be, let's backtrack for 1 second. If you don't do this, what ends up happening is your website's going to start developing errors on it. And what these errors will do, if somebody clicks on your website, it doesn't properly load, right? Or there's a widget that's broken, or a security license isn't renewed, or if somebody clicks on it, oops, 404 page error, right? These issues are quite common on websites that have older technology, right? You have older technology, you don't update your website, they start to develop problems because there's no staff maintaining those old servers and those old websites anymore, okay? So what you need to do is you need to work with a company, any reputable company, that is able to just move you to a new server automatically and just give you that technology for free, right? Because I will tell you, as a web design and marketing agency, it is extremely tedious having to redesign someone's website every 6 months to 2 years. I don't want to work with you and then 6 months later or a year later, you're like, I need a redesign. 6 months later, a year later, you're like, I need a redesign. It's so time consuming. It's like 50 hours to design a website, right? Like, it's crazy, right? It's a lot easier to just say, hey, here's the new tech. And then you just stay on forever and then we just update your website as time goes on. Right? It's a lot easier working with something that's existing and just updating the tech for it, okay? Because that'll only take a couple hours a year. It's not much time at all. So when you are building a website, some key points to keep in mind. First, you want to pay attention to the structure. So this is 101, how website design works, okay? So first you have to build the structure. And I'm talking like there's no colors, there's no pictures, it's just the color's gonna go here, or the navigation tab go here, the logo goes here. The pictures go here, the contact information goes here, okay? Then what you're going to do is you're going to start populating it with all that information, the colors, the pictures, the verbiage, the logo. You're going to start putting all the stuff together. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go over the website another time to make sure that the technology works. If I click this, it goes here. If I click that, it goes there. Okay? So you've got to pay attention to these three things. Now, when you are building the website, you want to make sure that it's simple. I'm not talking like one page simple. Okay? What I mean is, how many of you heard of clickbait before? You know what clickbait is? Right? Okay. Clickbait means that it shows you one thing and then you get there and it's something else. You don't want your website to look like clickbait. It's like, hey, here's a key piece of information on dentistry. Click here to find out more. You scroll down one. Hey, here's a key piece of dentistry information. Click here to find out more. And then you scroll down. Hey, here's a key piece. Like, that's what it is. You don't want to add your contact information 50 times on each page because it looks like clickbait. Okay? So what you want to do is you want to just keep it simple, right? The average person only scrolls 4 times to get to the bottom of the page. You only need to have your contact information at the top and the bottom. That's it, okay? Next, you want to review it. Now, as a website designer and marketing company, I don't know if there are changes in your business. Do you have staffing changes? I don't know. You have to tell me those changes. Do you have a new piece of technology? Are you offering a new service? Did you change from Opalescence to Zoom? I don't know, right? But you have to be the ones to review your website and tell your website designer those changes. They can't read your mind. They're not in your business, okay? Now, I'm not saying you have to do this every single day. Once every 3 to 6 months, review your website for half an hour. That's it. Send the changes you want to make to your web designer. They'll get them done. In most cases, they'll get them done, right? Depending on your web designer. Next, you want to test out everything. So if you notice that there's a link there, or a chatbot, or there's a hyperlink that goes to your school or an association, just click on it. Make sure whatever links are on the website are still working, right? How many of you know what caching is? Caching on a website. Basically, the last time you use something, it's going to save that piece of information in your browser, right? So what happens sometimes is that your browser could potentially be caching old links. So what you want to do is you want to, how many of you ever cleared your browser cache or your history, stuff like, you know what I'm talking about? Right. So what you want to do is you want to clear your browser cache and history, then look at your website. So that way it's not caching any old links or any old information that's on your website. Y'all with me on that? Okay. Then you want to update it, right? So if you notice that there's any problems, update it. Specifically like your hours of operation, because sometimes those change. Your holiday hours, right? Sometimes your email changes or your phone number is different, right? So you want to make sure that you're updating any piece of information that you notice is inaccurate, right? Just all I ask is that you review it every 3 to 6 months. Review it yourself every 3 to 6 months to find problems with it, okay? Any questions on the website design at all? Nobody has any questions. I'm going to start calling on you. Okay. Next, we want to optimize your website. How many of you are actively optimizing your website right now? Or paying someone to do it? How many of you are paying someone to optimize?
You mean SEO?
SEO, search engine optimization. There's lots of forms of search engine optimization, okay? Lots of them. I'm going to go over a lot of them here, but I'll just kind of list some of them. Keywords are a form of search engine optimization. I'll explain all about those in just a moment, okay? Blogging is a form of search engine optimization. Videos and putting those videos on YouTube and then optimizing them on YouTube is a form of optimization. Updating Apple Maps, Yellow Pages, RateMDs, that is a form of optimization. They all work together to help you to show up higher on the search results, okay? So while I'm explaining over the next several pages, keep that in the back of your mind, okay? So there are two types of search engine optimization. You've got static and you've got dynamic. So static are keywords that are built per page, meaning I've got a page for root canals, I've got a page for teeth whitening, I've got a page for pediatrics, I've got a page for everything else that you do. There are specific keywords that are attached only to those pages. So if somebody goes online and types in, why do I have a toothache? Your root canal page will show up and your emergency dentist page will show up, okay? If somebody goes online and types in missing tooth, your bridges page will show up and your implants page will show up and your dentures page will show up. You see how that works? Okay. Now with dynamic keywords, these are keywords that are attached to the static. So when I say attached, I mean you are starting to add more than just missing tooth to your keywords. You're saying missing tooth in Los Angeles, missing tooth in Pasadena, missing tooth on Main Street. So if somebody on Main Street types in missing tooth, Google knows to have that person, or your search results show up for that person. Is everyone with me on that? So a dynamic keyword is a combination to a static. Okay, so it could be tied to a street, a zip code, a city, a state, right? It could be tied to a government building, right? Dental implants near gray building downtown. Right? Like you would not be surprised to see, or you would be surprised to see all the different keyword combinations that people type in, including spelling mistakes are huge. Now, what you want to do is you want to make sure that these keywords are page specific. Okay, so if I type root canals, I only want the root canal page to show up. But if you have two pages on root canals, it's okay that both of them show up. One of them about baby root canals, one of them about adult root canals. Okay, but you want to make sure that your pages or your keywords are page specific. This way, you're not saying dental implants on every single page of your website, right? Because if you put in dental implants on your dental cleanings page and on your on your teeth whitening page and on your implants and bridges pages, right? Somebody puts in dental implants into Google and then you have dental implants show up 50 times. The patient's going to look at them and be like, what the hell do I click on, right? So you want to make sure that your keywords are page specific, specifically the static words, okay? The static words. Drawing the right traffic to the right page. The dynamic help you get found more locally. Next, you want to add and replace. So fun fact, people search differently at different points in the year. Let's just take teeth whitening as an example. In the springtime, people typically search for teeth whitening related to weddings, right? Events. In September, it's primarily people that are going back to school, students, right? So you have to make sure that your keyword combinations are accurate according to the time of year that you're advertising. So you want to add more keywords at the appropriate time of year. Okay, so in the springtime, you want to add a bunch more keywords to like wedding venues, brighten your smile, big wedding day, bride's brightest smile, stuff like that. And then in the wintertime or getting towards the fall, you want to do the opposite. You want to add more keywords. You want to take some keywords out and then add more that are specific to that time of year. Everyone with me on that? Okay. Now the primary, I'm just going to talk about this for 1 second. The primary reason why you want to do this, let's just say you have 100 keywords on your page, okay? 50 of them rank well, 50 of them not so well. Those ones that don't rank well will draw the whole page's ranking down. The lower the page ranks, the lower the website ranks. So what you want to do is you want to remove some of those keywords and replace them with new ones in hopes that all keywords rank well. Every keyword ranks high, the page ranks high, the website ranks high, okay?
Let's say if I put, or if somebody Google root canal,
yeah.
How do you make your company to be like number 1 or number 2 on the list?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Root canals, how do you make your company show up number 1 or number 2 on the list? So when you change your keywords, Google doesn't remove the keywords from your indexing. So basically you add 100 keywords to your website, okay, in hopes that all of them rank high, and then Google says, okay, these are your indexed keywords. So what you do, we're just talking about root canals right now. What we'll do, we'll look at all the keywords, we'll see which ones rank well, which ones don't. And I'll show you in just a second how you determine which ones rank high. What we want to do is remove the ones that don't and replace them with new ones. Those new ones now get added to the indexing for that page, right? Then you look at it again, right? And we hope that all those keywords rank high. Okay, so what we do is we remove again the keywords that don't rank high and add new ones, and they'll get added to the index. So after a year, your indexing could have 500 keywords for that one page, even though you're only actually advertising for 100, because Google's already indexed every keyword you've tried. And they'll tell you which ones work. Okay? Now, to make you show up even higher for things like root canals, you want to add a blog to your website specifically talking about root canals, which I'll explain on the next page. Okay? Now, you want to combine your keywords. Okay? So, static and dynamic, right? It's okay to say like emergency dentist in Pasadena. Or you could say chipped tooth or emergency dentist who deals with chipped tooth in Pasadena. Emergency dentist being static, chipped tooth being static, in Pasadena is dynamic. You see how that works? How many of you ever heard of something called a meta phrase? It's a phrase. It's a keyword combination. It's a sentence that somebody types into Google to have you show up on the front page, right? Like what you want to do is you want to advertise not just for your individual keywords, but your sentences, right? But it's not your sentences that, the sentences are very particular, and you don't really want to advertise them on you don't want to use those sentences and put your keywords in for the average everyday page on your website. What you want to do is you want to use those sentences for your blog. Because 50% of the people are searching up like dentist near me. The other 50% are searching up why do I have a toothache? You know, why do I have black spots on my tooth? How do I fix a chipped tooth from home? The people, I'm telling you. Okay? So what you want to do with a blog is you want to look at not just the keyword, the individual keywords, but the actual phrases that people are typing in. Based on your top phrases, what you want to do is you want to add a blog post for those phrases. Okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to build your blog backend. Okay? Your blog backend is built through a system called an RSS feed. Romeo Sal Sal, RSS feed. Okay? It's basically a feed that tells Google when you republish your website to come back and scan it. It's a piece of technology. Okay? You don't build your blog through an RSS feed. When you republish your website, Google won't care. So build your blog through an RSS. Okay? Once it's built through an RSS, when you republish your website, Google comes back to your website. They say, thanks for all the new content, and then they take it back for indexing. Okay? Now the thing about the RSS feed is that if you do not publish blog content on a consistent basis, that RSS feed becomes stagnant. Okay? And it's a lot harder to build it back up, build that trust back up. Okay? Because then let's just say you don't post anything on your blog for 6 months. And then you're like, you know what, let me try blogging again. Okay, well, unless you do it once a week for the next 6 months, Google won't care the content that's on there. So you have to build it up again. You have to build up that trust in your RSS feed that Google had. Okay? Is everyone with me on what an RSS feed is? Okay, it's a piece of technology. You have to keep posting on it to keep it active. Okay? Now, once you build out the back end, the three key pieces of information: who you are, where you are, and what you do. I'm a dentist. I'm in Pasadena. I do cosmetic and family dentistry. So the next time someone in your area searches for a dentist in Pasadena who does family and cosmetic dentistry, Google knows to have your blog show up to that individual. Okay? So you build your blog backend through an RSS feed, and you give it three pieces of information: who you are, where you are, what you do. Okay? Next, something that we use to categorize keywords to figure out which ones are your top ranking ones, which ones are not top ranking. Okay? It's something called Google Search Console, like an Xbox console. Okay, everyone with me on that? Google Search Console. It's a free system you can basically plug into your website, and it tells you all the keywords you rank for and what position they are on Google. First page, second position, third page, ninth position. It tells you how much traffic each keyword generates. Generates, 50 clicks to your website, generates 2 clicks to your website. So this way, you can categorize your keywords. These are all the keywords for teeth whitening. These are all the keywords for cosmetics. These are all the keywords for pediatrics. Then once you categorize them, you can start building blog content for your top ranking words. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to say to your web designer, hey, can you write a blog post on laser dentistry or something? And then they're like, sure, no problem. And they write something and then they put it on your website. Okay? But was that blog post written with a purpose? Is laser dentistry listed anywhere on the top ranking keywords for your website? Maybe. Most of the time not. It's other things like implants or emergencies and stuff like that. Right? So what you want to do is you want to look at your top ranking keywords, you want to categorize them, and then you want to build content on your website specifically for your top ranking words. Is everyone with me on that? Okay? Now, some important things to keep in mind when you are writing a blog. Do it every 2 to 4 weeks. Okay? 2 to 4 weeks to keep that RSS feed alive. Okay? Beyond this, if you don't, it'll start to lose its authority with Google, its trust. Okay? Every 2 to 4 weeks. You want to include at least 50 keywords per blog post. Okay, so let's just say we're talking about root canals for a second. We have a page on our website talking about root canals, just a general page. Then what I do, let's just say your top ranking words, a lot of them have to do with endodontics, root canals, toothaches, and pain and stuff like that, right? So what we do is we now build a blog post for pain. We build another blog post for toothaches. We build another blog post for endodontics and what an endodontist is, right? Stuff like that. Okay, general dentists and what kind of work they do, stuff like that. Then what we do is we start linking the blogs with each page and we kind of start spider webbing it. So when somebody reads a blog post, it links to another page, which links to another page, which links to another page, which links to another page. I'll explain about linking in a couple of slides, okay? Linking is very, very important, okay? But you want to include at least 50 keywords per blog post so that way people know how to, what specifically is on that page. Okay? You have to include a lot of different keywords and use static and dynamic words. Static and dynamic. Okay, you want to have at least 750 to 2,000 words. Anything less than that, it's not really a blog post. Anything more than that, and you're just losing the patient in the details. Okay? And then use custom images and videos. And I don't mean like, hey, you just got a root canal, smile, right? And you take a selfie and then put it on the blog. You don't want to do that. Okay, what you want to do is you could if the patient's okay with that. I would say no, but it's okay to use a stock photo and then just put your color filter over it or put your logo in like the bottom right-hand corner or something. Everyone know what I'm talking about with that? Or put like your abstract over the picture itself. Everyone knows what I'm talking about when I say those modifying stock photos to make it look personal. Okay? Anybody have any questions on a blog at all?
Where do you exactly go and search for your top ranking keyword?
Google Search Console. So you need Google Search Console, like C-O-N-S-O-L-E, console, right? So you want to just look up Google Search Console. It'll give you a code that you add to your domain on the back end. And then Google's just going to start, you could just log in and then it's verified after like 5 minutes and then it won't give you historical data, but it'll give you data starting from today. So if you look at it 3 months from now, you'll see all the keywords people have typed in to find you over those past 3 months.
But you have to put your website or...
You have to give Google Search Console. You say, this is my website. They'll give you a code. You add the code to your domain, your www. Right? You add it to the back end. And then you just start collecting data. Okay, now to the average person, that data, you're gonna look at it and be like, I hate this. I hate it so much, right? But to a marketing company, a reputable one who actually understands it, they could look at that data and be like, perfect, this is what I write about. These are the keywords that I use, right? Any other questions on the blog at all? Perfect. Next, how to optimize your website. So there are about 200 things that Google looks at when determining who shows up first on the front page of Google, okay? Now, there are some specific places on the website that need to include optimization. They have to include it, okay? So one of those places is in the tab of the actual browser itself, okay? Next is in the URL suffix, so after the .com or .ca. What's there are typically keywords. Next are the navigation tabs. So how many of you have ever Googled a business and then seen like home, about, services, contact, and then you can like quickly click on that page and then it goes to that page? That's what the navigation tabs are. So you don't want to make the navigation tabs like super long, right? You don't want to leave them like bland. You want to say like root canal treatment, right? Like, so that way Google picks up root canal treatment and puts it right on the website or right on Google. Okay, so people, when they Google root canal treatment, can see your name and then can see one sub-page saying root canals. Is everyone with me on that? One sec. I'll get to you in 1 second. Next is the page header. So there are 6 headers on a website: H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. Okay, H1 is the most important. H6 not so much. Okay, but H1 headers, that's what's at the very top. It has to be static and dynamic. So I could just say bad breath, but anyone local would find that? Probably not. But if you look up bad breath treatment in Victoria, BC, that office, that page will show up number 1. Okay, that's how it needs to work. The title, bad breath treatment in Victoria, or bad breath treatment in Pasadena, or bad breath treatment near you, right? Something like that. Okay? What's your question?
Yeah, with the tabs, does it matter if it's like a tab within a tab? So if you have
No.
treatments and then you have
No.
extractions, root canals.
Yeah, that's totally fine. It's totally fine. Absolutely, you can do that. Okay? He's basically asking if you can have sub-pages within other pages. 100% you can. Yep. Okay, next is the page summary. This basically provides Google with a synopsis of what the page is ultimately about. Okay? After that is the page content. Now you have to rank the content according to what people are interested in. So you remember Google Search Console, we were categorizing our keywords to figure out which keywords are the most popular ones, right? So if we're looking, let's just say at bad breath, should treatments, should symptoms, or should symptoms, treatments, what's the last one? Why is my brain not working? No. What treatments, symptoms, and what else? Come on, you guys are doctors, right? Anyway, there's treatments, symptoms, causes. Causes. There we go. Treatments, symptoms, causes. Which one goes first? Don't guess. Don't guess. You look at Google Search Console. You just put in, let me see all the keywords related to bad breath. It'll tell you like causes, treatments, symptoms, right? So then you literally just put the content, like causes, symptoms, treatments, right? So when people come to the website, they want to read the more sought after content at the top, right? Let's just say this one page is about emergencies. Abscesses is technically an emergency. Would you put abscesses at the top of the page if it produces 1 hit a month? Probably not, right? It'd be somewhere near the bottom, right? Put the more sought after content towards the top, okay? Now, there's something called a title and a description on the back end of a website, okay? Anytime you Google anything, okay, you'll see a title and you'll see a description, okay? A title is the big letters, okay? And the description, you'll see a website link, and then you'll see a description of what that link is, or what that search result is ultimately about. Does everyone know what I'm talking about there? Okay, Google anything right now on your phone. You'll see there is a title and a description for each search result. Okay, you know what I'm talking about? You can manipulate that for every single page of your website. Every single page, you can manipulate the title and description for it. Okay, what I see a lot of times being in this industry is that the title and description are typically duplicated from page to page to page to page to page. So it'll say Brandon Dentistry Root Canals for root canal page. It'll say Brandon Dentistry Dental Implants for the dental implant page. It'll say Brandon Dentistry Invisalign. I think Google knows that you're Brandon Dentistry already from the domain, right? Google knows that you're already Brandon Dentistry. Why waste that keyword space? Okay? The reason I'm saying waste is because the title is limited to 60 characters. The description is limited to 155. So if you have, let's just say, one page that talks about all emergencies, what emergency is going to go in the title? What emergency is going to go in the description if you're limited to content? Okay? So you're going to be, you have to be very intelligent with these two things, because you have to write this content for 3 people. You have to write it for Google so that they can find it. You have to write it for the patient so they can understand it. And you have to write it for yourself so that it's clinically accurate. Right? So your title should be something like, let's just say for emergencies, having a dental emergency, urgent care today. Right? Your description should read chipped teeth, cracked teeth, bleeding gums, whatever your need, or dental trauma or bleeding, we can help, call today, same day care. So if anybody in your area searches up Pasadena emergency, same day care, dentist, chipped teeth, whatever, that title and description will help you show up number 1 on Google. Now that title and description is one of the most important things that Google looks at. Okay, and you have to manipulate it for every single page. So there's about 200 things that Google looks at. There's about 20 really important things that they look at. The title, like the H1 header, is like a top 5 item. But this title and description is, in my opinion, the #1 thing. Okay, so you have to manipulate that title and description for every single page of your website. Every page. I've got offices that literally have 50 pages of their website, and then they have over 300 blog posts, right? So then they have 350 different titles and descriptions. Okay, so that's 350 pages that Google's indexing differently. Is everyone with me on that part? How very important that is? I'm going to show you how you can view that on what, like how you can see the title and description on your website in a few slides, okay? Next is local business schema. This is basically a page of code that you add to your website that helps Google Maps find and navigate local businesses to present to local searchers. Basically, the closer you are to someone's office, the higher you get found on the search results. So if I'm looking up dentists near me and I'm closer to your office, you're going to show up higher on my search results. But now if I type in dentist near me and I'm over here, you're going to show up on my search results higher than she will. Okay, that's what that's for. Okay, it just helps people find closer businesses to them. Anybody have any questions on this at all?
Yeah, I got a question.
Sure.
Let's say you Google dentist and then you put the city Rancho Google on there, right?
Yeah.
The name of your company shows up, but then after a few months, there's like 30 other dentists.
Do you remember why? I already went over this.
Well, how do you maintain it to be on the first or second?
Do you remember why?
Keep blocks.
Does anybody, huh? Update every 3 to 6 months because people search differently at different points in the year, right? So you can't, remember, Google takes the keywords and indexes them. And if you just leave them, if somebody else updates their keywords, they're adding more keywords to their pile over you. So then they're going to start showing up over you. So what you have to do every 3 to 6 months is you have to change your keywords based on the time of year. So Google will index, every time you change your keywords, they're adding more keywords to your index pile.
I remember now. This company are like dentists and hygienists in there. They don't have anybody that. Do you have a company that does that?
Well, yeah, I'm 100%. Like, you're not the only one optimizing your website. I guarantee that. Like, you know, sometimes people take courses like this to learn how to do it themselves, right? Beyond a two-hour course, I can do like a 2-week course with someone and teach them everything they need to know for them to do it themselves. I have done that for some offices before. Now, they don't end up doing it themselves. They just want a better understanding of how we do it, right? So that they know what they're paying for, right? But I promise you, you're not the only one optimizing your website. It depends on how often you update your keywords. It depends on the keyword choice that you use. It depends on about 200 other factors, including the things I'm going over right now. Okay? So you want to keep changing your keywords every 3 to 6 months. That's why it's easier to just pay someone to do this for you, but you have to make sure that they're doing it the right way. Okay? Yeah, do you do it? Don't do it. Let me do it. Okay. Now, why is optimization important? Well, because there's tons and tons and tons of keywords that somebody could type in to find you. So many different keyword combinations, static and dynamic keyword combinations. And what the average person does is they click one in, pop it into Google, and what we want to have happen is have your website show up. Now, orthodontics near me. You see their primary page, it says orthodontics right there in their description. You remember I said title and description are the most important things? When we were looking at their search console, it said that orthodontics was one of their top keywords. So all we did was take orthodontics and put it right there, one keyword in their description, right? The title and description that you take on the back end, okay? We put it right there. And then what ends up happening, so that page shows up and then their sub-page shows up. So you see it's indented here, right? It's indented. That's their sub-page that specifically talks about ortho. So I was around the corner from this office. I just type in orthodontics near me. Bam, that shows up and their subpage shows up. And that's what you want to have happen. Is everyone with me on that one? Perfect. Oh, yeah, and then when you click on it, sorry, I forgot to mention, once you end up clicking on that page, it goes straight to the ortho page. Find what you're looking for in one click. Super easy, right? This way you don't have to go to home, go to services, and then go to orthodontics. You just type in orthodontics near me, click on what you're looking for. Okay, Google Business Profile. How many of you control your Google Maps page? All right, how many of you think you control your Google Maps page? It's okay to put up your hand. Okay, so Google Maps. If you do not have ownership of your page, or if you don't know you have it, Google yourself. Okay, but don't just, sometimes if you Google yourself, you won't show up. Depends on how you've been optimized. I worked with an office yesterday, and she had bought, I'm just gonna go off on a tangent for 1 second. She bought an office from somebody else. He still maintained ownership of the Google Maps page. And so when she went to go in and make changes, she needed his authority, but he didn't exist anymore because he died. So how do we fix that? Right? So what we have to do is we have to send an escalations request to Google. She got ownership. But now what ends up happening is a lot of the changes that he did are like grandfathered in. So when you had clicked on the website link, it went to his website because the domain was like somehow like grandfathered in, and she didn't know what to do because anytime you clicked on it, it would go to a 404 page. Now this woman's not even a client of mine yet, right? So I'm like, all right, let's just fix this. We literally go in, I tell her what to do, she basically deletes one of the domains, waits for it to update, and it fixed it within like literally 30 seconds, okay? So it can be, these pieces can be really finicky with like ownership and making changes to it, okay? So if you Google yourself and you don't show up, Google your office's phone number, or Google your address, or Google the previous name, and it will show up a Maps page, okay? Claim ownership of that page. There's literally a button that just says claim business, okay? Now, once you claim it, you're gonna see this, edit the profile. The editing of the profile will take anywhere between 2 to 5 hours to update. This is not an easy task, right? Because you gotta change the pictures, your description, your insurance information, your social media pages, your services, your products, or anything else that you might end up doing, description, right? Stuff like that. Now, once that's done, you want to organize it. If anybody, this is really only for multi-location practices, so if anybody has multiple locations, Google gives you another system that you can categorize your locations in, okay? You can talk to me separately if you do have multiple locations. Next, this next piece is very important, so pay attention to this one, okay? On the Maps page of Google, when you scroll down, there's an announcements part. It's kind of like a social media component directly attached to the map. It's like, hey, here's a new staff member, or hey, we're now offering opalescence, or whatever it is, okay? You can create these social media posts that are optimized. These are like mini blog posts that are directly attached to your map. Super important, right? And you want to post at least 2 times a month, okay? And next, you want to respond to reviews. How many people respond to their reviews right now? Okay, very, very important. I'm going to explain about reviews in just a couple of slides, okay? Respond to every review that you have. Next, once you do Google, you're going to do Bing. How many of you use Bing as your search engine? Guess what? 30% of you are, and you don't even realize it. Nobody put up their hand. If you look at your browser at home, next time you Google something, you're actually Binging it, 30% of you, because Bing is the default browser for Microsoft computers. Pretty much no one knows how to change their default browser, right? Unless you have a little bit of IT experience. So I'd be very interested to know if you go home and you look at your top left-hand corner if it says Google or if it says Bing. Because Google and Bing systems, like their search engines, look very similar, okay? Now, 30% of the world still uses Bing. So what we're gonna do, instead of spending 3 hours updating your Bing page, we're gonna log into your Bing, or we're gonna log into Bing using your Google credentials. So what you just logged into Google with, you're now gonna log into Bing with. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna sync the profile. So you're gonna click sync, and Bing's gonna say, give me everything, Google, and Google will just pass it over. And then when Google does that, you just update it. This update will take 5 minutes. All you really have to do is just go over the profile, make sure everything was brought over and categorized the correct way, and then you have a profile on Bing in 5 minutes. Super easy, but do Google first, okay? Any questions on this? Awesome. Awesome possum. Next, the chatbot. Okay, how many of you use a chatbot for your website? One person? Come on. How many of you hate using a chatbot, personally? Like 5, 6. Okay. So there are 2 types of, chat systems, right? Like you've got a live chat and you've got a chat bot. Live chat requires an agent to respond, right? The person has to be glued to the screen in order to respond to that person. Because you don't respond, what ends up happening, 5 seconds, patient loses interest, and then they just move on, okay? The chat bot is an automated response system, okay? But there's two types of chat systems for the bot style, okay? There's a free text option, and then there's an automated response option, okay? Free text means that the person puts in the question and then waits for this response to come back, okay? I don't suggest doing free text because it leaves room for human error. Patients do not spell words correctly, do not use proper grammar, or will try to skip steps in the process, and the bot doesn't understand it. So when they don't understand it, what do? I'm sorry, please repeat that. I'm sorry, please repeat that. I'm sorry, screw this, I'm out, right? Like that's what the patient's gonna do. So what you want to do is you want to use a completely automated system, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to build all your different categories. And the categories could be based on procedures or based on groups like cosmetic, endo, perio, whatever, okay? Then what you're going to do is you're going to build a story for each scenario. So what's the bot going to say when the person engages with this component? Then what you're going to do is you're going to tie the stories together. So the first column talks about cosmetics. At the end, it says, would you like to book an appointment for cosmetics, learn about veneers, teeth whitening, or something else? Patient says, you know what? Why don't you tell me about teeth whitening? Perfect, here's the info on teeth whitening. Would you like to book an appointment for teeth whitening, learn about veneers, or something else? Okay? So then what happens is it goes through this process until the patient says, let's book an appointment. The bot says, perfect, give me your name, your email, your phone number, best time to call and primary concern. So then you get an email that looks like this. It says, hey, Brandon's looking for teeth whitening. Here's his contact information and his chat history. Please give him a call. Right? And this is how the bot functions. So it gives you a question and a series of responses. All you have to do is select the response for you, and it takes you down a pathway. Every pathway asks for your contact information. Completely automated, other than asking the patient for their contact information. Now, one second. I did say, when you get emails, what are you supposed to do when you get an email? Call them back. How many of you seen Wolf of Wall Street? Come on. How many of you seen Wolf of Wall Street? There we go. Pick up the phone and start dialing, right? Because 70% of the emails, if you get this message and you email the patient back, 70% of the time it goes into the patient's spam box. So don't email them. Call the patient back. Call them. They just emailed you. Pick up the phone and say, hey, I just got your email. Oh my gosh, you did? You have no idea. We get emails all the time. Doctor Marketing does. Gets emails all the time from dentists asking for help. We pick up the phone, we call them, they're like, holy crap, I just emailed you. It's like, let's work together, like right off that. Right off that. Because I promise you, you're not going to be the only dentist that they're reaching out to, but the first one to call them is the winner. Okay? Sorry, sir, you had a question?
Yes, so for the chatbot to work properly, you first need to have some traffic on the website.
Correct.
That's what
That's correct. So
I'm in trouble with. That's why I raised my hand.
That's right.
I like to work with chat.
Absolutely. This chatbot, a chatbot is a conversion tool, right? There are other conversion tools, click to call now numbers, web forms, right? Book online options. These are all conversion tools. Conversion tools don't work unless you have traffic coming to your website. You don't have traffic, there's no point in paying for a conversion tool. Okay? So you need to make sure your systems are set up and ready to go, then activate the traffic sources like Google ads, Facebook ads, print campaigns, radio to draw traffic in and let the automation begin. Okay? Yes?
I got a question about the previous slide. Yeah, on the Google business, you said update the post every 1 to 2 times. Can you explain that a little?
Yeah, so on the posting, he's going back to the previous slide. So you remember on the posting, so all you're doing is creating a new post. You're creating a new social post on the map 2 times a month.
What do you mean by social? Like on social?
No, I'm just going to back up for 1 second. So this.
Yeah.
So if you scroll down right here, you're building those directly on your map.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're not attached into anything. You're building them right on the map. So you do it twice a month.
Gotcha.
Okay? Any other questions on the chatbot at all?
On the same slide that you want back.
Okay.
For the Google business.
Yeah.
You said if you have multiple locations, you're gonna organize your profile.
Yeah. So if you do have multiple locations, instead of just typing in your name into Google and then like editing your profile and typing your name, they give you a system that you can say, just look up the system, and then you can click to all locations that you have from one system. This way you don't have to type your name in multiple times.
That's why you have to do organize it.
That's right. That's right. Okay, any other questions up to this point? Perfect. Next, we want to build your website popularity. Okay, the best way to do this is to get found on directories. So remember those 200 things that Google looks at? Top 20 item, directories is one of those items. Okay. Now, there's lots of different directories you could be on. Apple Maps, Ariel, Manta, Better Business Bureau, Hot Frog, Rate MDs, Health Grades, right? Like there's so many. So what you want to do, the information you just put on Google, you are now going to add to the directory. Okay? You have to add every piece of information accurately. If the name of your business is off by even one period, that link does not count on Google. You have to make sure whatever's on Google is also on the directory. It needs to be 100% perfect. Okay? So the name of your practice, your phone, fax, email, address, hours, industry, website link, all super important, have to be accurate, whatever's on Google. Now, this last one is called a website link or a backlink. Okay, a backlink is a link that leads to your website not from Google, but from an alternative source. The more backlinks you have, the higher you get found on Google. But the caveat is that the information attached to the backlink needs to be accurate. If it's not, the link doesn't count. Okay? You had a question?
Yeah, I was actually wondering if you, like Dr. Marketing, has figured out a way to automate that, because I bet like it must be very difficult to. Like,
Yes, I was just about to explain that. And so instead of doing this manually, you would do it through something called an aggregator. Okay? Sorry, before I explain this.
So the backlinks are related to the directories that are coming.
Backlinks are the directories. Yeah, backlinks are directories. Okay? One and the same. Different words. Okay? So instead of doing this all manually, you would work with something called an aggregator. An aggregator is basically a business that disseminates information to other businesses. So instead of you working with 500 different directories individually, which is a lot of work, you would basically just pay for a license for the aggregator to work directly with the directory. Now, it's not a one and done, just so we're clear. Okay, you work with the aggregator passes information and pings the directory on a consistent basis. Okay, you stop pinging the directory thinks you're not in business anymore, bye-bye. The backlink is gone, the directory listing is gone. Okay, your ranking goes down. So you have to pay it, it's a license fee to work with directories, or to work with aggregators. Now there are local aggregators, there are national ones, there's industry-specific aggregators. Lots of different kinds. Okay? Now, aggregators can be consumer and commercial. Okay, so I can work with some, you can work with some. Okay, some are free, some are paid. In most cases they're paid. Some are large, some are small. There's lots of different types of aggregators out there. Okay, what we want to do is work with as many as we possibly can in Pasadena, as a medical office, in dentistry, in California, within Los Angeles, within the United States. You see how many different directories we could possibly be on, right? There's a lot of different categories that you could technically fall under. Okay, we want to put you on as many as we can. Now, we do this because linking is very important. You remember when we were talking about blogs and I was saying we link this page to that page and I was explaining about linking? It's very important. There are three kinds of links. You have internal links, which go from page to page of your website. Okay, you read one thing and then it says, go check out this page, and then you click on another page, right? You have external links that go from your page to an external source. And then you have directory links that go from an external source back to your website. Okay, so you need to do all three. Now, what's really cool, that Google Search Console that I was explaining about earlier that tells you all the keywords and how you rank for them, that system also tells you, there's another part of it, all the listings you have, all the directories you're on and where they are. So if we go here and we're like, hey, where's Yellow Pages? We know that Yellow Pages is a wrong piece of information. We have to go in and fix it. Pretty easy, right? I say it's easy. In theory, it's very easy, but it's vastly more complicated than this, okay? Now, accessibility. How many of you have ever seen this little widget over here? Sometimes it's a guy in a wheelchair, question mark, exclamation mark, whatever, okay? So back in February last year, the Canadian and US governments got together and created something called the Website Accessibility Guidelines Act. Anybody ever heard of it? It basically means that if somebody with a disability, I'm not talking physical disabilities, I'm talking like vision and hearing, color blindness, dyslexia, ADHD, whatever. If they try to use your website and they can't, they can sue you. It's the stupidest thing ever, but I get it. Now, there are stipulations in there. So if you do not have that widget and somebody uses your website, they cannot sue you right away. They have to give you an opportunity to rectify the issue. So I have a client of mine, downtown Manhattan, calls me in January because he received a letter from someone suing him for $1.1 million for this exact issue. Can you imagine getting a letter from that? He just calls me, he's like, my existing company couldn't fix the problem. So he was past the threshold time. So he was actually getting sued for $1.1 million. Right? Now, he was like, can you fix this now? So I was like, sure. Got him up and running with a brand new website, put the accessibility on here, and then also added another page saying, here's how to use it. Lawsuit went away. Okay? So I'm not saying you will get sued, but I'm just saying stupid things like that do happen. Okay? So this feature, I just hear this like echo in my ears. All right, so it helps that the website can be read to you, okay? So if you're blind, it can read it to you. If you have vision impairment, right, it can increase the text sizes, right? If you're colorblind, it can change the colors on the website. Like I personally actually am colorblind. So I've used this personally to be able to see different colors on websites. It's actually pretty cool. Font changes, right? You can change the font if you're dyslexic. It's pretty neat. You can pause the images or remove animations, right? If you have ADHD. So there's a lot of interesting things that this feature can do. So its primary function is to help people with disabilities. Its secondary function is that it makes your website technologically advanced. The more advanced you make your website, the higher you get ranked on Google. Chatbot has the same technological advancement. So you add a chatbot, you add an accessibility, you have double advancement. Better security, more advancement. So adding this helps with your optimization score. You had a question?
Yeah. Does this also apply to Google Maps?
No.
Stuff?
No, this is only for your website.
Okay.
Yeah. You had a question?
I received those letters from two of my offices, but it wasn't for suing, it was coming from the lawyer's office.
Yeah, stupid, right? We can fix it. Just put the accessibility widget on there, okay? Now, just to be clear, there are free accessibility widgets out there, okay? So we're clear. Problems with those is that they don't give you every disability. So if somebody, like if you use one of those free ones or one that's like, oh, it's 20 bucks a month, but then like somebody who has a different disability can't use it, just be aware of that, okay? So the one that we have, it's all inclusive, we thought of like every disability you could possibly think of, added it to this, okay? So you want to make sure you're using the right accessibility widget, okay? Any other questions on that? Awesome. Ask for reviews. There are 4 ways to generate reviews. What are they? I'm calling on you.
The barcode in the office.
Yeah, barcode, that's one. Good. Usually people don't get that one. That's a good one.
Just ask them.
Ask them.
Text, automated text.
Text and email. Last one.
Word of mouth.
Huh? Word of mouth? Yeah. Come on.
Like compensate them somehow?
Oh, you could, but I wouldn't do that. Take $5, give me a review. No, the actual best way is through a survey. You send them a survey. Imagine this for a second. You come into my office, I send you a survey. I say, hey, thanks for coming into the office. Would you mind completing this quick survey? It's like, how was your experience? Rank your scale out of 1 to 10. It was great, right? Ranks over 90%. It will automatically say, hey, would you mind leaving me a Google review since you had such a great experience? Automatically redirects them. Now, if he didn't have a great experience, the survey would say, oh, thanks, have a great day. Right? This way it leaves any negative comments offline. That's the best way to do it. Next, a sign in the waiting room or a QR code, in waiting room, operatory, create a poster, whatever. I have one office that I work with. You lean back in his chair, and on a ceiling tile, it says, leave me a review with a QR code. Right on the ceiling. He has 1,200 reviews. You laugh, but it works. Okay? Ask for it during the appointment. Be particular about this one. Here's a bill for $5,000. Can I have a Google review? Right? Or you're like working on the patient. It's like, hey, can I have a Google review? Right? It's like, yeah, right? Like, what are they going to do? Right? You can ask for it in an email post-appointment. So if those three make you feel uncomfortable, just say, hey, it was a pleasure seeing you. I'm looking at building my Google reviews. Would you mind leaving me one? Okay? Now, you could ask for it in person. Some people are not comfortable doing that. Okay? So you kind of have to treat it almost like a joke. Right? If I came to you and I was like, hey, can I get a 5-star Google review? You'd be like, wow, this guy's intimidating. Kind of a dick. I'm not leaving him a review. Okay? Or, yeah, I guess, right? But if I came to you and I was like, hey, you know, we're just trying to like get some more Google reviews. I was wondering, did you have a good experience? You did? Okay. Would you, could you don't have to, you know, could you leave me a Google review? I don't know, just say that it's like 5 stars. Say on the best or something. Include some keywords. How more inclined would you be to do that? Right? As opposed to asking directly, it's coming too assertively, right? But if you ask them like a joke, they're gonna be like, damn, you know what? I'm gonna include, this guy's the best at this, the best at that, the best everywhere. Okay? So kind of ask them like a joke when you're doing it. Take it seriously, but not too seriously. Okay? And if they don't do it, don't harass them. One time, one and done. Okay? Sorry.
I'm curious though, don't you think you would leave it to open for people to make bad reviews? Like, you never know a person.
For which one?
For.
The survey filters the bad, no, the silver.
Oh yeah,
that,
survey no. Assign in the waiting room more.
well, I mean, like,
What if like someone's waiting, they're having a bad day, they think they're waiting a long time.
yeah, it doesn't happen.
But I feel like it does.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And if somebody leaves you a bad review because they're waiting for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, if so,
But
that's
don't
that.
you, like, as a consumer, like I definitely look at the Google reviews and
Yeah.
decide whether I want to go to that.
I have
business.
something about that. I'll talk about that in just 1 second. Okay? You had a question?
No, it's a comment like when a patient is happy, like they will tell you, oh, we're happy with your treatment.
Yeah.
Then could you please write a review?
Yeah.
If-
You can add.
Give them the good service and then kindly ask for the review. But if you don't give them a good service and you are always
Yeah. Don't ask everybody. Only ask the ones that you're confident in their attitude. In their attitude.
They would be happy patients.
Right. Now, she was mentioning about negative reviews. I'm experimenting with one office. Okay, this one's very, very interesting. I'm experimenting with one office, and we're getting all of their patients to leave negative reviews. Now, I'm not saying negative, 1-star reviews, but a glowing recommendation. Why? Anybody want to take a guess?
Because you want to see if people actually read the reviews.
Maybe. Why?
Usually people, when they search for a business, they go and look for the bad reviews.
That's
not the
right.
good ones.
That's right. You look for the bad reviews.
Actually, I used a couple of those bad reviews out of 4.9 reviews that I have
Yeah.
to respond and direct them to.
I'll talk about responses in a second. But the reason why we're testing out with one of these offices is because the average person will only look at negative reviews. So if you get a negative review, like a genuinely negative review, the only way that you could really negate that isn't in the response. Get other people to leave glowing recommendations at a 1-star. So you have a 1-star rating, you have 500 reviews, but they're all 1 star? What the hell? What's going on? So now the patient's gonna look at them and be like, wow, this is like literally the best dentist ever. It's not a negative review. Wow, this dentist was great with my child. That's not a negative review. But the patients are reading them. They're like, why are all these 1-star reviews? This guy literally generated 150 patients last month.
One star.
1-star reviews.
Wording was-
You have to, now this is going against the grain. So if you're gonna do it, you're gonna commit to it. Because there's no going back. There's no going back. It does. You're gonna go, yeah, but imagine, you're number 1 on Google, on the Maps page, you have 1 star, 500 reviews, but all the reviews are actually glowing.
I feel like I would be like, okay,
Well, no, you're gonna be like, how is this guy 1 star? And then you're gonna read them and you're gonna be like, oh, that's interesting.
There's an error.
There's an error, there's an issue, there's something causing the problem, right? But you're gonna read them anyway as a patient.
Wouldn't that kind of make you want to be like, there's something up with this office? I don't know if I really want to go there. Like, at least from a consumer's, like.
You would think that, but tell that to the 150 patients they got.
But then
So is you telling them to put 1 star, but then?
Yeah, so we're the ones that are coaching the office and coaching their staff to ask the patients to leave a 1 star.
That's wild.
Don't leave me 5, leave me 1. Leave me 1, but you have to include keywords, right? Include some keywords in there like, we're the best dentist in Pasadena, we're the best dentist around, we're the best at this, the best at that. Because Google indexes the content in the review, right? So if you had 500 reviews, all of them just said, great job, but I had one review that said I was the best in Pasadena, I would always show up above you. Because I had more keywords in the review itself than you ever did, okay? So keywords in the review. Now, keywords in the response is also important. So you can't just say, thanks for the review. You have to say, thank you so much for the review. Positive or negative, we want to make sure everyone has the best dental experience possible, right? Whether you need a cosmetic or an emergency concern, we can help you with same-day appointments. Lots of keywords in the response, okay? Now, the reason I worded it like that is because the response also has to be HIPAA compliant. You can't, if the patient has the name in the review, you can't say, thanks Jordan for the review. You just broke HIPAA compliance right there. You just admitted that this guy was a patient, right? You just mentioned his name in the review. You can't do that, even if his name is on the review that he left, right? So there's a lot of like HIPAA compliant rules around that. So if you're uncomfortable with it, just have somebody else who knows about these rules do all the responses for you, okay? Now, who can leave a review? There's 4 people that can leave a review. Come on. Patients. Who else?
Labs.
Yeah, vendors, sure, yeah. Who else?
Guardians.
Oh, vendors, sometimes.
Can staff?
Staff, yeah. Who else?
Doctors.
What kind of doctors?
Associate.
Customers, yeah.
The parents.
Here. Who said what?
The parents.
Oh, you're so close. You're so close. Let me give it to you. You're so close. Patients can leave reviews. Your staff can leave reviews. What it's like working with you. Your vendors can leave reviews. Hey, I just bought $40,000 piece of equipment. Can I get a 5-star on your experience and me giving you my credit card? Right? And then your friends, and your family. So you're pretty close, right? Not the patient's parents, but the actual, your parents can leave a review for you. There's no rule that says that you can't do that. Who thinks that there's a rule that says you can't leave yourself a 5-star review? How many of you ever left yourself a 5-star review? My videographer has, because he's seen my presentation for like 3 years, right? Like he has. So I'm telling you, leave a review for yourself. Why would you not? I'm a great dentist in Pasadena. You know, I'm a family dentist. I care about the community. If you have a family or need anything for emergencies or whatever it is, give me a call. I'm happy to help you with my phone number. Why would you not, hang on, why would you not do that? Then you leave one on Google. Then you leave one on Yelp, Yellow Pages, RateMDs, Health Grades, Rate-A-Biz. That's like 6 places I can leave a 5-star review today. And I'm sure if you looked in your phone, you could find 10 of your friends and family that would do the same thing for you right now. That's like 60 reviews you can get today. Isn't that crazy? There's no rule that says that you can't do that. Come on, guys, leave yourself a review.
No, my question is when, I tried it practically, with Yelp has some restrictions.
Yeah.
But with Google, when you're claiming your website,
Yeah.
your business,
Yeah.
does it like restrict it?
No.
Because you're the same person.
No, you can leave a review for yourself. So on the Google page, it'll say ask for reviews, and it'll give you a special link. You just put that into the browser and leave yourself a review. Okay? So super important. Now, Google Ads. You've done all these things. Now we have to start drawing traffic to your website. Okay? One of the best ways to do it is through Google Ads. How many of you are running an ads campaign right now? Come on, guys. Trust. Give me hands. I know some of you are doing it. Okay. So first, we want to sync your Google Analytics with your Google Ads. Google Analytics is just like Search Console. It's a system that plugs into Google Ads that gives Google Ads information on how people find you, where they find you, what devices they're searching on, things like that, okay? And I'll come back to that point in just a second. Next, which procedure should you promote for? Okay? So, should we promote for teeth whitening? Should we promote for Invisalign? What should we end up promoting for? So what you've got to do is you have to really select the top 5, 6, 10 services that you want to promote for. The number of services you promote for is really based on the budget that you're going to end up using. Okay? Now, what keywords should we use? So once you kind of select the services that you're going to promote for, Google's going to say, okay, well, here's a list of keywords for each service. So then you have to go through all the keywords and you have to say yes, no, yes, no, yes, no to all of them. right? And there could be thousands of them, right? So you want to say, yes, I want to promote for free consultations. No, I don't want to advertise for free dental work, right? Stuff like that, okay? And you're not just going to do this once. So Google gives you something called an optimization score for your ads campaign. And so every now and then your optimization score drops because they give you a bunch of new keywords and recommendations that you have to look at. You don't look at them, your optimization score keeps dropping and dropping and dropping. As a partner, if my optimization score for my clients drops below a certain percentage, I risk losing my partnership. I'm not about it, right? So we have to go through the keywords consistently. What's the best time of day to promote?
Morning and after work.
What did you say?
Early morning or after work.
Early or after?
I said depending on what you are promoting.
Depending on what, sorry?
What you are promoting, what services are you?
Okay, anybody else?
Anytime.
At night.
Anytime, at night? Anybody else? Come on, time of day, 10, 11, 6, 4, 2, lunchtime, whatever. You're all pretty much right, okay? It's not any time, but you're close. The best time of day to promote, I'm gonna tell you my experience. I have 2 kids, okay? I'm a business owner. I'm a baseball coach, okay? From 6 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 5:30, I'm basically at the gym, come home, I get the kids ready for school with my wife. Primarily she gets the kids ready, I like to think I do. Then I drop them off, or she does most of the time. Then I go to work, I manage my business until 6 o'clock. Then I do the baseball coaching, or then the kids have karate, or I've got to spend time with them, like doing some Mortal Kombat or something with them in the basement, whatever it is. Then we have dinner, bedtime, and it's 9 o'clock at night. Do I have any time to search for a dentist? Okay, kind of. I could potentially search for it during my busy day, which I typically don't, but that's me. I'm not the average person. Maybe I am, I don't know. I don't know what your schedules are like. Maybe they're similar, okay? But think about it from the average person. When are they available? 6 a.m. until 11 o'clock at night. Typically is when you want to advertise. Your office is only going to be open for a fraction of that, but you don't advertise when you're open. You advertise when people are looking, right? 6 in the morning till 11 o'clock at night. Now, you don't advertise from 11 at night until 6 a.m. the next morning because those people, you don't want to talk to them anyway. Okay? So from 6 to 11. Okay? You had a question? No? Perfect. Okay. Next, what content should be in your ads? It's 6 o'clock on a Saturday night. Somebody types in best teeth whitening provider near me. What does your ad say? Now, you could say, hey, need teeth whitening, call today. Or what you could do is you could use this analytical data that you plugged into Google Ads, and you can start manipulating your content into more complex ads. You remember how we have to change the keywords based on the time of year, right? So that way people search differently at different points in the year. I can create a teeth whitening ad that says, hey, I see that you're looking for, no, we're not gonna say this, but in the back end, we can build an ad that says, big life event coming up, get your teeth whiter today. And we can only advertise it to people that have historically searched up wedding venues. We could type another one that says, don't have time for in-office whitening? Try our take-home whitening kits. And we can only advertise those to people that travel great distances every day to get to work. You see how that content works, right? It makes the ads a little bit more personal to the people that are searching. Now, what's your budget? What should your budget be? Well, if we look, let's just say 3 miles around your office, 3 miles, there are only so many people that are going to click for teeth whitening in that vicinity. So what you want to do is you want to have an appropriate budget to be able to advertise for them. You also have to consider your competitors. How many of them are spending money? What time of day are you promoting? What keywords are you advertising for? So really, if the average dentist spends $500 a month advertising for teeth whitening, you have to spend $600. You don't have to spend the most, you just have to spend more than the average, okay? Now, I'm not telling you to spend $10,000. $600 if the average is spending $5, okay? One sec. Then, you have to figure out the keywords and times of day. So keywords and times of day, let's just say Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, the keyword is $10 when somebody clicks on it. After 5 o'clock, the keyword drops to let's say $1 a click, either because there's less competition after 5 or because that keyword is less likely to convert. Which one is it? Well, we won't know until we actually start experimenting, right? So the budget can be very finicky, but it can be very helpful, okay? So we have to figure out what kind of budget you should be spending. And so what you got to keep in mind is when you do spend money, you should expect anywhere between 2 and 8 times your money back. So if you spend $1,000, you could be getting between 2 and 8 grand back. Now, historically, when I work with dentists, on average, they're making about $75,000 to $120,000 a month on average. My one office in Lower Manhattan makes about $600,000 a month. Everybody's a little bit different, but you have to spend according to what your growth goals are. If you spend $1,000 and you make 100 grand, if your office makes 100 grand and you spend $1,000 on Google Ads, is another $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 really going to make a dent? Are you even going to notice it? Probably not. So spend according to what your risk tolerance is and what your growth goals are. I'm not telling you to go crazy and spend $10,000 a month, but spend according to how much growth you want to get, okay? Facebook and Instagram. Okay, so first what we want to do is we want to complete your Facebook page profile and Instagram page profile. So this is updating your cover picture, your logo, your contact information, your hours of operation, all that stuff. Once that's done, you link Facebook and Instagram together because they go based off the same system. Then what we want to do is we want to automate the responses. So Facebook has a very simple automated response system. It's like, hey, welcome to our page. Here's our hours and contact information. How can we help? And you want to set up this like simple chat system. Then what you want to do is you want to set up the pixel. So the pixel is basically Facebook's analytics system that tracks demographic information, age, gender, marital status, kids, jobs, stuff like that. Okay? So then what we do is we look at the pixel and we say, wow, you get a lot of traffic for people with kids. What do you think we're going to build the post around? People with kids, right? Right? So you look at the pixel to create engaging posts based on what people are searching for. And then we engage with them. So if they comment, you reply. If they share, you share back. If they like a post, you like one of theirs. That's how social is done. Doesn't matter if it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, X, or whatever. Doesn't matter. Now, you do want to post at least 2 times a week. Okay? Could be stories, reels, or whatever, posts, videos, pictures, whatever. Okay? At least 2 times a week. Some platforms, though, you want to post more often. So TikTok and Reels, you want to post like once a day. YouTube could be once a month. Okay? Now, once you have solid content, solid posts being created on a regular basis, you want to start promoting it. So you promote it through Meta. Meta is basically Facebook ads. It's just like Google ads, except it's run on Facebook. Okay? And so what you want to do is you want to build your audiences. And so an audience is based on that pixel data. It's based on demographic and geographic information, right? So what you're going to end up doing is like, here's an audience for men, here's an audience for women. Here's an audience for people with kids, without kids, people under 30, people over 30, or any combination, okay? So then you start building posts targeted towards those groups of people. Now you can have 5 posts, 3 posts, 10 posts for each category, it doesn't matter, or for each group, it doesn't matter. Then what you're going to do is you're going to let Facebook sort out which post works best for each group of people, and that's what it'll run with. Then what you need to do is you have to factor in your time frame, your frequency, your radius, and your budget. Okay? And then beyond that, you engage with them, just like you do on your standard Facebook profile posts. Except with these posts, what's really interesting, these posts are shown to people who don't follow you. So not only will it help generate more followers, it's also going to help generate more patients. Okay? Any questions on social at all? Perfect. Y'all are a great bunch. All right, review and modify. So every system I just explained does something different. Okay? So your website traffic tells you where people came from, how they engaged with you, what they typed in to find you, or what pages they typed in order to get to you, that sort of thing. Your Google Analytics it will tell you what people typed in to find you and the times of day that they're searching. And then your Facebook Analytics is going to tell you the demographic information of the people that are actually engaging with you. Age, gender, marital status, kids, jobs, stuff like that. So then what you do is you take one system to improve the other. So what I mean by that, I go to Google, I say, I'm going to look at the data. I see that you get a lot of people looking for implants at 8 o'clock at night. So I go to Facebook, I create an implant post at 8 o'clock at night. Then I look at that analytics, it tells me it's mostly men over the age of 65 searching for it. So I go to your website and I change all the images for implants. I change them all to men over the age of 65. So the more people who engage with you, they're going to resonate with the imagery, right? So they're going to be more likely to convert. Okay? Now, everything I've just explained has been digital. There are so many non-digital options, it's crazy. These are all things that we've experimented with, flyers, and worked. Some of them work so well. Printed flyers, radio, wrapping a bus, doing billboards, having a commercial at the beginning of movie theaters, community sponsorships. That's like baseball teams, soccer teams, stuff like that, or like local community rib fests. Business partnerships. If you have any like tanning salons around your office, anybody have a tanning salon near them? Anybody even look? Okay, look for a tanning bed. Then what you got to do is you have to partner with the tanning salon, be like, hey, can I put a poster inside each bed? You say, hey, get a brighter body, get a brighter smile. Brandon Dentistry, cosmetic services. You not believe how many patients for cosmetics you're going to get from something like that. And then seminars for nursing homes, schools, Girl Guides, Scouts, stuff like that. Be active in the community. It's not just about, you know, getting work done every day, but actually actively try to do stuff in the community. Now, some other cool additional things that have historically worked really well, packages to colleagues. If there's things that you do that nobody else does, let them know, right? You do surgery, nobody else does surgery. You do ortho, nobody else does ortho. Let your other colleagues know. And don't just leave it to the dental space. Medical doctors don't work with teeth, guys, right? Get them to refer patients to you. Presents for kids. Holidays are coming up, okay? Get a Christmas tree, put it in your lobby, go to the dollar store, okay? Get $200-300 worth of boys and girls presents. They're $2-3, right? Wrap them, put them under the tree, say it's from Dr. Brandon or whatever, right? Then what you're gonna do is every kid who comes in starting like mid-November, you're gonna give them a Christmas present. And you're gonna make a big deal out of it. You're not gonna be like, hey, go pick one, I don't care. They're kids. Now, assuming you deal with kids. Anybody deal with kids in this office or here? Yeah, a bunch of you, okay. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna be like, hey, come here, go pick one. Don't tell your mother, and don't open it until Christmas. They're gonna be like, okay, right? And they're gonna put it under the Christmas tree. You know what's gonna end up happening? Every family member that comes over for the holidays is gonna see that, and the kid's gonna be like, look what I got from my dentist. I don't care, it was $2. It's a little Hot Wheels car, whatever it is. But do you know how much that means to that child? They're gonna be your patient for life, good Lord. Not only that, but the parent never expects a present from a dentist. What the hell? This is great. Look, you have to go to this dentist. He's giving out free presents. No joke, your January, you'll get double the amount of patients. I promise you. You do that. You do something like that. But you have to do it the right way, okay? Plans for businesses. If there's any large corporations around you, go to them and be like, hey, if I gave you 10% off, could you just like give my card to all of your staff and say that we're your dentist? You would not believe how many patients you're gonna get from something like that. One of my clients went to there's like in Toronto, there's like a dealership road, right? Car dealership. There's like 15 car dealerships on this one road. It's like the dealership road, right? Aaron Mills Parkway, right? And so this one dentist has been trying to get into these people because they have in each dealership like 50 staff. Imagine getting 50 staff to come to your office from 15 different dealerships. He gets one on board, the rest of them will fall in. 50 patients basically overnight per location. I'm just using car dealerships as an example. I have another office that's trying to do it with public transit company, right? If you have any large corporations, see if you can partner with them. In partnerships with sports teams, this one's actually pretty cool. If there's any like AAA sports teams, like for football or lacrosse or hockey or whatever it is, and when you partner with these clubhouses, they typically have elite athletes between the ages of like 8 to 21. You go in, you give them $5,000, you sponsor something, and you say, let me do a talk with your kids and your families. They'll have 200 kids out with all their families. You say, hey, I'll give you all a free mouth guard with a new patient exam, right? But this is the reason why you need to wear a proper mouth guard that's fitted to your face. So while the parents are there, the parents are also going to convert because you're helping their kid. You help the kid, you help the mom or the dad, then you're going to help the spouse and the siblings, and then any referral that comes with it. Okay, all you have to do is give them a free mouth guard, right? Or give them a discount, I don't care what you do, but I mean, like, that does work, okay? Next, add images and videos. How many of you just use stock photos on your website? How many of you use personal photos on your website? I know you guys are using one or the other. It's okay to use put up your hand, okay? So in most of my experience, 90% of the photos on your website are gonna be stock photos, okay? So you have a great logo, you have a great picture, you have a great office, but this is what people wanna see. Now I'm not just saying dealing with kids, but I mean just dealing with patients. Nobody cares that you have a high-tech office. Look at the difference in the quality of photo. Okay? High-tech office, great headshot, logo. What's missing? The patients. The patients need to see that you can help them, right? So take some pictures of patients, put them on your site, put them on Google, okay? So if you want more patients, you've got to, specifically kids, include pictures of you dealing with kids and dealing with families on your site, okay? Cosmetic patients, include before and after pictures. You need to do that. Okay, and then if you want more referrals, include pictures of you in the community. Sponsoring events, stuff like that, okay? Now, where are we going to add the images? Well, we're going to add them to your website. We're going to add them to Google. We're going to add them to Bing, to social, to printed flyers, emailed newsletters. Same pictures, different platform. Okay, the reason why we want to change, or we want to use the same pictures is because that's how people start to remember you. They get an email from you, you see the picture, then you see a social media post, you're like, where have I seen this dentist? Oh yeah, I got an email from him, right? And then you see us at the community event. You're like, I know you, I get emails from you, right? That's how patients are going to start to remember who you are, okay? Now you want to update the pictures every like 2 years or so, give or take every 2 years. Now from a form of optimization, how many of you just like take a file and then just like upload it to your website or social media without changing the name? All of you do it. Every one of you does it, right? Does Google know? Does Google have eyes? What's on that picture? Explain it to me. Right? I'm Google. Explain it to me. Right? How does Google know what's in the picture? They can't see what's in the picture. Okay? You have to explain it, and that's what the file name is for. You have to explain. Pediatric dentist, male pediatric dentist with great smile, helping little blonde girl with teeth, wearing pink glasses. Anybody Googles anything like that, Google Images is going to have that picture show up number one. Okay? So you have to make sure that you're using what's called alt text, ALT text, alt text. Okay? It explains what the picture is. Okay? Any questions on that? Perfect. Next, we want to combine your marketing efforts. So, email and social media. Email marketing and social media go hand in hand. You create a newsletter, take the message, apply it on social media. It's the same message, different platform. Creative versus general brand. What's your brand? Why would someone choose to come to you versus him? What separates you? You both have great smiles, you both are nice people, you both have the same education, great staff, high-tech offices. What separates the two of you? That's what you need to figure out. Okay? Do you have polka dot lab coats? Do you give out presents to kids? Do you give patients sticks of gum after their appointment? Why would a patient choose to come to you? That's what you've got to figure out. Okay? Blogging and search engine optimization. It's not chicken and egg. Optimization comes first. No one cares if you add a blog to your website if you don't optimize it. Okay? Print, Google, and Meta. Print marketing does work, but it works better in tandem with Google and Facebook ads. Do it digitally first, then hammer the same area with a print campaign. The print campaign will perform 2 to 3 times better. Okay? Somebody sees an ad on, gets a flyer, it's garbage. Then they go to social media, they see your ad, I don't need a dentist. Then now they need a dentist, and they see your ad pop up. They're like, I've seen that name, but I don't remember where. Well, because they got a flyer and a social media post about it, right? Personal and stock photos and videos. It's okay to use stock photos, guys. I'm not, in the previous slide, I wasn't saying don't use them. It's okay to use them, especially for procedure pictures. Like, it's hard to explain what an inlay or an onlay is on a real patient, okay? Just as an example. And digital and non-digital options. Okay, so if you want to grow, they both have to coexist. You can't just put all your money into one source. Now, as a bonus tip, work with a professional. So professional marketing companies should be updating content, colors, keywords, fixing errors on directories, renewing domains and security, attracting media, writing blogs, managing social, print ads, and more. That's what a marketing company should be doing for you, okay? In varying capacities depending on the level of engagement. Now, the reason why you want to work with someone like Dr. Marketing, like us, okay, is because we are HIPAA WCAG compliant. WCAG is the Website Accessibility Guidelines. PIPEDA is like HIPAA for Canada, and GDRP is like HIPAA for Europe. Content, we know the content behind the procedures, and we know how to explain it in a way that's not going to get you in trouble with the association or college guidelines. Okay? Now, some common marketing mistakes. There's a lot of mistakes. I bullet point form them for us so we can go through them quick. Do not use the word guarantee, love, best, or state of the art in anything that you do. Okay? Testimonials and reviews. Do not place written testimonial on your website because it's treated as a statement of fact that you publicly endorse. Can you prove who wrote that? No, but you're using somebody's name and you're using their words, so they could sue you for a HIPAA breach. So don't use that. Video testimonials are preferred because their identifiable features are right on camera. Okay? Not responding to reviews. You want to respond to reviews. Always respond, but you have to respond in a HIPAA compliant way. And responding aggressively to negative reviews. Oh my God. I read this one review. He's like, if you don't like the service, don't come in. Don't do that, okay? You also don't want to, you ever heard the term, don't move the dead body? Okay? Once you leave the review, don't go back and try to fix it because all it's going to do, they're going to get a notification, like the patient gets a notification when you respond. So you go back and fix that now, it's going to re-spark something and then you're going to start an online war, okay? Incentives, give away money to earn reviews or referrals. Don't do it. Don't do it, man, okay? Giving gift cards for electronic or electronic toothbrushes, you know, teeth whitening for new patient exams. You don't want to do stuff like that because it attracts the wrong type of patient. They're basically there for the incentive and then gone when you try to recall them, okay? Now, you also don't want to list any study groups you're part of, continuing education courses you take, or positions you hold at an association. You can't make yourself seem better than somebody else. Contact information, using the incorrect title or designation. Funniest one I've ever seen, a peds dentist called himself the Supreme Dental Ruler. You cannot do that, okay? Just dentist, DDS, DMD, whatever your designation is, okay? Having multiple websites for the same practice, don't do it. That's how you get blacklisted. Directory mistakes. Fix the problems because it's costing you business. This one office, no joke, one of the dentists, like across the street from them, claimed their yellow pages and advertised on yellow pages. So like it was like ABC Dental, but the phone number was for like 123 Dental. Oh my God, they were so mad. And then marketing, promoting for services you don't offer. Okay, obviously don't do that. Plagiarism, improper explanations, right? Pretty self-explanatory. Improper marketing budget. If your budget's too low, you're not going to get the results you need. If it's too high, you could be overspending on very basic services. So, what should you be spending? What's your question?
In our office, we offer like a value plan, and different options.
The membership plan? Yeah.
And from time to time, we have to update the fee schedule,
Yeah.
the plan. What is your recommendation as far as advertise the value plan, generally speaking, the option A, B, and C, and the pricing?
Yeah, I wouldn't advertise it directly. I would advertise it indirectly. So he's basically asking about the membership plan that you guys have in the office and how to advertise it. I wouldn't actively advertise it. So if I'm running a Google Ads campaign, I wouldn't say membership plan. What I would talk about is maybe like making dentistry affordable. And then what I would do is saying insurance, financing, membership plans. So I would indirectly advertise it because you don't want to just draw traffic just to the membership plan because typically membership plans are loss leaders, right? Meaning you're going to lose money on those things just to bring traffic in. Okay, so advertise for it, but not directly.
So don't advertise the value plan.
Yeah.
And no details about the value plan.
You could be very basic, but if you're going to do it in conjunction with financing, like through Care Credit or insurance and stuff like that. Okay, do it in conjunction. You know, because you don't want to just mention one, but you want to say we have options available. Okay. So what should your marketing budget be? Anybody want to take a guess of how much money they should be spending percentage-wise from their gross sales per year? How much should they spend on marketing? 10%. 10%?
20.
20?
15.
15? Let's just say you make $1 million. Do you think you could afford a $150,000 a month marketing budget? Or a year marketing budget? If you made $1 million a year, could you afford what is that, like $10,500 a month?
Yeah.
You could? Oh.
Yeah.
He's like, nope. What's your percentage, right? Like, you have to figure that out for yourself. So I'm going to tell you what it is. You're all pretty much right. It could be 0 to 100%. Your new office, you're spending everything. You're spending $1 million, billion, infinite percent, right? Because you have no money, right? So you have bank money, right? So let's figure that out. Web design. Web design will typically cost between $1,000 to $10,000 for you to build a website, depending on if it's a template or a custom website. Emails will usually float in cost between $10 to $100 a month, depending on the provider and amount of space that you have for that email, security features and stuff like that. Chat systems are usually floating between $50 to $300 a month, as well as directory listing management, $50 to $300. That's updating directories and getting you found through aggregators, right? Next is Review Booster. That's $50 to $300 a month as well. That's the survey that can redirect patients to Google to leave you a review or not redirect, right, if they leave a negative review. Then we've got search engine optimizations. That's $250 to $500 a month. That's the dynamic version, not the static. Static is typically included from the average provider. Social media, that depends really on the platform, $250 to $500 a month. It depends on the platform and amount of posts that you're doing. And then ads management, it's usually 15 to 25%. So if your budget's $1,000, on average, you're gonna spend $200 to manage your 1,000, okay? Everything added up should be 1 to 4% of annual sales. Now, I say that with a grain of salt, okay? Because some people do not have such aggressive growth goals, okay? So if we take all of our clients into consideration, every single one of them, okay? 1 to 4%. But the number of operatories has to correlate with the number, sorry, it was buzzing, it was bugging me. The number of operatories has to correlate to the number of active patients. If it doesn't, you're gonna end up spending more, okay? Everyone with me on that? So if you're, let's just say you're making, I don't know, $1.2 million on a 4-op office, that's pretty good. You'll probably be spending maybe about 3%, okay? Could be more if you have aggressive growth goals. You want to add another location, or maybe you want to hire an associate or bring on 2 new hygienists, right? You might be spending accordingly, okay? You could spend 10%, you absolutely could. I've got an orthodontist that's in Houston who spends $40,000 a month in advertising, 40 grand, but he also generates a ridiculous amount of money, so.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
The budget we're talking about, 1 to 4%, is going to be 1 to 4% per month or per year?
Oh, it's 1 to 4% based on gross sales, so it works out to the same number, right? So if you wouldn't fluctuate your budget every day, but I mean, if you made $1 million, you want to spend 5% on $1 million, $50,000, you divide that by 12 months.
Okay, so per year.
Right. Right? But usually you stay within that 1 to 4% as long as the number of patients correlates with the number of active, or the number of operatories. And if it doesn't, let's just say you have 4 ops, but you have 500 active patients, you're going to be spending like 15% of your budget to get that number up, right?
Hi, sorry to walk in late.
Hi.
Do you have a company that you recommend for SEO that you like? Is this your company? Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So I would love to spend $250 to $500 a month on SEO.
We could talk about it.
Is
There-
that not conservative?
That is, but there's a lot. I know you walked in late, but there's a lot
Sorry
of
about that.
yeah. There's a lot of options as well. There's blogging as a form of optimization. That's separate from that,
Okay.
right? Blogging is another expense, right? Directories is another expense.
But that's the dynamic where you're keeping all the
Loc-
tags on the page.
Yeah, that's right.
accurate.
That's
Okay.
right. That's right. That's that, right?
Oh, that
Yeah.
seems
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah. Okay. Next, is your marketing working? Here's a couple tips and tricks for you. Okay, we only got 5 minutes left, so we're almost done. Website design. Look at your website on all device sizes. A lot of people, when they're looking at their website, only do it from a desktop. Look at it on a smartphone too. Make sure that it formats correctly. Now, here's a cool one. Search engine optimization. Do you remember those title and descriptions that we went over? The most important thing Google looks at, it shows up on the search result. Here's how you can look for it. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to your website, you're going to right-click anywhere, and you can do this from every single page of your site. Right-click anywhere, and when that box appears, you're going to click on View Page Source. Okay? From there, you're going to see the code of the website. Okay? Looks complicated, I promise you it's not. What you're going to do is you're going to hit Control F for a master find, and you're going to look for something called title and description, specifically like meta title, meta description. It's going to be in blue text, and it'll basically tell you what is your title and what is your description for that page, and you can do this on every single page of your site. So you can see if the person who's actually doing optimization is doing their job. Because if you don't agree with the description that they've given for that page, you need to be like, hey, screenshot, fix it. And here's how to fix it, right? Next, blogging and search engine blogging and social media. Look at the pictures, look at the content, look at the verbiage. Make sure that you're happy with the brand that's being conveyed, because ultimately this is your brand. Imagine if this picture was just like yellow. How ugly would that look? compared to the rest of the blue site. You know what I mean? So use the same content, the same sort of, same font, same styles, same colors, stuff like that. Ad spend, here's what's interesting, okay? So your patient cost will be between $150 to $250. Your lead cost is between $45 to $80, mainly because your staff play a significant role. Your staff pick up the phone and say, "Thank you for calling Brandon Dentist, we're busy right now, hang on 1 second." And the patient's like, "What the hell was that?" Like, I'm waiting on hold now after someone screamed at me. Have your staff pick up the phone the right way. When you get a lead, make sure that they're being followed up with and they're being called, okay? That will help reduce your patient acquisition costs. Typically, you're gonna talk to about 3 leads before one of them turns into a patient. Three phone calls come into your office, one of them will be a patient, okay? A lot of it has to do with your staff, okay? Now, a little bit about doctor marketing. We're pretty much done at this point. So, we're a full service marketing team, so if you need anything, just give us a call. We're super easy, okay? We specialize only in working with dental practices. That's all we do, okay? We have no term contracts. You're not happy? There's the door, right? There's the door, right? You could leave anytime, right? But most of the time, the only typical reasons why people ever leave us is because their office got bought by a DSO or because they died. Oh, we have a lot of older clients as well. We save the average office 36 hours a month in tons of stress. We like to take our time, be easy to understand, and offer effective and efficient service. It's our mandate. And I've got partnerships with Google, Facebook, GoDaddy, Microsoft, and Constant Contact. You can find us, Doctor Marketing, on their sites. So I mean, realistically, if they trust us, I think it's pretty safe to say that you can too, okay? Now, what services do we offer? Everything. Everything we just went over, some things you missed that we went over, everything. Anything that you can put your mind to. There's 3 kinds of advertising. There's internal that deals with like promotional and print items, chapsticks, lip balms, or stickers, cups, mugs, whatever. We can do it all. There's digital, obviously, and then there's external, which deals with like flyers and billboards and radio campaigns and stuff like that. We can take care of everything, okay? Case studies, pretty much done right now. So I put together, I wasn't sure who was going to show up today, so I put together a couple different types of offices. Denturists is literally, all they do is denturists, and they're dentures. They're not a medical clinic, and they're only in Canada. It's pretty cool. But lots of different types of offices, lots of different budgets, lots of different marketing, okay? I didn't think it was fair to only put my expensive clients on here. I also didn't think it was fair to put my cheapest clients on here, so I kind of put a range for you, okay? Every office is different. How much do you spend? Really depends on you. The only thing I can suggest is that everyone, no matter where you are, you're going to start basic. Hi, it's nice to meet you. Can I have $5,000 a month? This marketing guy's crazy. How about this? Hey, it's nice to meet you. How about we start maybe at $300 or $400 a month? Go from there. As long as the results are good, every couple months we can add more to it as long as you're okay with the growth. That seem more reasonable, right? Start basic. Things like optimization, Google Ads, social media, print, marketing, everything like that. It all takes a back seat. We have to know if these things are going to work for you before we start doing them, okay? Basically, what I don't want to do is say, here's your budget. That worked, right? But then all this wasted budget on the floor. I don't want to do that, okay? Not about wasting money. I know we asked a lot of questions throughout, but if you have any questions, I'm done. Also, my videographer is here if you want to chat with him. He's a local videographer. I've worked with him for a long time. Ask him if you need some like personal videos and stuff like that. He can help you. If you do have any questions or you want to speak to me on a personal level, scan the QR code, fill out the contact form. I'd be happy to help in any way that I can, okay? But I'm all done for today, so if you have any questions, I'll be at the front. If you want to give me your contact information, we can chat, okay? Thanks, everyone.